Nvidia has yet another major issue with their 5000 series cards. We get pricing for AMD's high-end X3D, and the RX 9070 XT is priced so well that it's affecting AMD's own GPUs. Welcome everyone to Gamer Meld. But first, it looks like nearly 70% of you that watch my videos regularly aren't subscribed. So what are you doing? If you love keeping up with all the latest PC hardware news, make sure you subscribe to Gamer Meld and click that bell icon so you can get notifications right when my videos release. Okay, it's news time, and first up for today, before I get to the new issue with Nvidia's RTX 5000 cards, the company has addressed the problem I recently discussed regarding those GPUs having an issue with black screens on boot. Remember that this seemed to be caused by multiple issues. Either way, according to PC Gamer, Nvidia apparently is investigating these problems. So that's obviously a good thing, but unfortunately, they now have a new problem. More melted connectors. Remember that just recently, Nvidia claimed that the connector issues are over for their 5000 series cards. Well, yeah, that doesn't seem to be the case, as now multiple users have found that their 5090 connector has melted. The first reported user comes from Reddit, and that is user Ivan6953. As you can see, they shared images of their 5090 Founders Edition card with a melted connector. Now, it does have to be stated that the user admitted to using a non-official power cable, but I still don't really think that's the problem. As you can see here, they used a mod DIY cable, which definitely aren't exactly cheap cables. And the thing is that those are apparently compliant with ATX 3.0 as well as PCI Express 5.0 specifications up to 600 watts. And really, that's one of the big reasons why I don't think that, even if technically this is what caused it, I don't think that's the problem, because if it is in fact compliant for PCI Express 5.0 and up to that 600 watts power draw, well, that seems to be a problem with the PCI Express 5.0 specifications, not necessarily for not using an official power cable. Personally, I'm starting to really think that one of the major problems with this is the fact that we're sending a whopping 600 watts through a fairly small cable. But of course, that is just a guess. With that said, they also added that the cable manufacturer claims that this is a 12V 2x6 cable design. Now, with that said, after kind of quickly looking, it doesn't really seem like there's any difference in the actual cable itself between the older 12V HPWR connector and the newer 12V 2x6 connector. Also, before I actually kind of get into this connector part of it, you can see here that the user confirmed that the cable was fully inserted and that they ensured it clicked into place. Now, even if this is not true, I really have an issue with blaming the actual user themselves, because I do see some people kind of claiming, oh, well, clearly they didn't insert it all the way. And to me, that really doesn't matter at this point, because if we actually look at the spec itself, don't forget that one of the biggest things that was changed between it was the fact, this one right here is the older 12V HPWR header, and as you can see, the sense pins actually go almost all the way out. While the new ones, one of the biggest changes that they made here is the fact that they pushed the sense pins in by quite a bit. And what this is supposed to do is, if you don't have it fully inserted, which of course, remember, was the big problem that apparently had caused the 4000 series cards to melt like they did, was that users just, it was a user error. They didn't have the connectors all the way in. Well, this was supposed to solve that, because if you don't have your connector all the way in, it shouldn't turn on, because the sense pins should be able to sense that, or at least they shouldn't be connected if it isn't plugged in all the way, which, at least from what I understand, is why they moved those sense pins back. And also, really quickly, that is one of the big reasons why I said that this right here is one of my favorite card designs with the 5000 series. Don't forget that it's the Zotac card RTX 5000. This one right here specifically is the 5080 GPU, but they also have this design in multiple other models, the 5090, believe the 5070 Ti, maybe some others, but regardless, one of the things that they have is that only when the 16-pin connector is fully connected does a little green light in the back actually turn on. So that is definitely really cool and kind of a peace of mind to let you know, okay, it's fine to turn this on. Moving back to the Redditor, what's wild is that it actually melted on both ends of the cable. So not just the GPU itself, but also the power supply. And according to video cards, there's actually currently 3 known cases of it already. And one of those cases is by the YouTuber Toro Tacho. They noticed that the connector on the PSU side actually melted. Now, not the GPU connector itself. Moving on, you can see it says Toro admitted that the issue likely resulted from a bad connection and wear on the connector, being the fact that he's a YouTuber and does reviews like this, but still, this really is not something we saw, as far as I'm aware, with 8-pin connectors. Well, unless you did the daisy chain thing where you had 2 of them. I mean, there were some issues with that, but that had a very clear cause. This one, on the other hand, is just, I don't know, it really does stink, and it definitely seems, at least to me, like I said, to be a big factor, being the fact that we're pushing 600 watts in this fairly small cable. Either way, if you're looking to purchase an RTX 5090, I definitely suggest you do not buy a third-party cable or any of that. Definitely keep it stock. And next up for today, it looks like we finally have pricing info for AMD's next-gen high-end X3D chips. As you can see right down here, this story comes from resident leaker Momomo_US, who was actually able to find some pre-listings on both Amazon and Newegg. And moving over to Amazon, you can see we have the 9900 X3D, and according to this, it's priced in at $599.99. Then when we look at the 9950 X3D, it is priced at $699.99. And on Newegg, you can see at least this one lists the $699 version, and yeah, it is the same price for the 9950 X3D, once again being $699. And when we compare that to the current gen 7000 series X3D chips, as you can see, that is the exact same price. Now, with that said, just a really quick recap on what these CPUs offer. As you can see, just like current gen, the 9950 X3D comes with 16 cores and 32 threads, and up to 5.7 GHz max boost with a whopping 144 megabytes cache and 170 watt TDP. While the 9900 X3D comes with 12 cores, 24 threads, up to 5.5 GHz max boost, 140 megabytes of cache, and 120 watt TDP. Now, at first glance, these CPUs obviously don't really look all that different from the 7000 X3D chips, but please don't forget that the really big thing here is that the ones with 3D V-Cache can get significantly higher boost clocks. So it should be a really nice boost. At the very least, these chips should offer very similar multi-threaded performance versus the non-X3D chips, which really makes these fantastic all-around CPUs. And lastly for today, it looks like AMD's RX 9000 GPUs are set for some very nice prices. This story, as you can see, originally comes from IT Home, and what's wild about this one is that while it doesn't give us exact pricing, we have kind of seen some rumors in the past around $500 to $600 for these GPUs, but according to this, a leaker on IT Home states that AMD is going aggressive in pricing for the 9070 GPUs to obviously challenge Nvidia, but it's apparently so much so that it actually looks to be affecting the 7800 XT sales, because as reported by them, it says AMD was supposed to halt the production and supply of the 7800 XT until the third quarter of this year, but now they've already issued a notice to stop production in January, meaning these bad boys, while yes, they aren't set to challenge, say, the 5090 or anything like that, but it definitely looks like they're set to completely obliterate them in terms of pricing. Don't forget that according to Moore's Law is dead, the 9070 XT is set to be right at the 7900 XTX's performance, which means yes, it is going to be a little under the RTX 5080, but at anywhere near $500 to $600, that could be a complete blowout for Nvidia. So while that does it for today, are you getting excited for the RX 9000 series GPUs, or are you just planning to purchase Nvidia? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And as always, have a great day.